Musical LP. Musical LP. Musical LP. Musical LP.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ITT. We deeply apologize for the breaks, unannounced breaks. We deeply apologize for the technical difficulties we have faced today, but we still promise you an interesting and educative section with influence. So I welcome you back. I'm still here with a beautiful and handsome guest, that have already started doing justice to the topic before the technical interruption, and we beg that we go back to the vocabulary section and everything that we'll be talking about. We're talking about a dying country, the future of a dying country. We've also analyzed a few things about the protest, and due to time factor, let's go straight, like you already mentioned, to the happenings in Nigeria presently. So back at you, Hope Alfred. What has been your personal view of the whole protest by the Nigerian youth? Is it necessary?
Of course it's necessary.
Okay.
I mean, okay, we've been waiting for our beloved president
Yeah.
to address us, to talk to us, say, okay, sir, we don't want these SARS people or SWAT or whatever. We, in fact, just put an end to police brutality. But all of us, we watched his pre-recorded speech,
Live
or
speech.
okay, they call it live speech. When we listened to what he had to say, which we didn't even get some parts because of, you know, we observed that he didn't even refer to the massacre that happened in Lekki. He didn't talk about that. He only apologized to the Oba of Lagos for the destruction of his building
Wow.
or whatever, and he didn't talk about the victims. He didn't talk about the family. He didn't express his condolence or whatever. He just talked about the Oba and talked about his Nigerian police force. So what is going to happen? What about the protest, the peaceful protest that has been going on in the country? There was no talk about it, and then he left it and was talking about empire. No offense, but who empire here, babeg? I mean, I finished school. I expect that, okay, I should be working somewhere, you know, earning well and everything. I should even be earning as much as the president's daughter or something. But then I'm stuck with applying for empire to pay me how much? 30,000 naira or 33,000
like
naira.
a refugee.
As if I'm a youth corps member, something that I finished a long time ago. So it's baffling that on Tuesday here in Port Harcourt, our own protest was actually very peaceful. We went home. We didn't even know that. We weren't even expecting such thing to happen. When I the recordings of DJ Switch's IG live session, and I was like, what? Because I was confused. I was like, okay, is this not the same protest that happened in Port Harcourt that happened there? Why go ahead to kill the people? And then when they called them out, the military, the soldiers, the governors, everybody involved denied it. Okay, so who ordered the killing? That's the question we're still asking.
Yeah.
All this would have been avoided if the president had said, okay, these people that have killed our citizens, our youths, we want them to be brought to book. The IGP, the military, or whatever should put heads together to bring these people to book. Okay, you don't want to do it. We, the citizens, we have helped you to do it. We found them. We said, okay, this is where this person is. The person escaped, and then you brought out wanted poster that you're looking for a SARS of numeral that has killed a lot of people. I mean, it's actually really bad that the president does not even have us at heart. I mean, that's the worst.
Bad.
That's the worst thing.
Like a case of abandonment.
like we are just nothing. We mean nothing to him. This guy, come, we employed you. Oh. Like this thing you're doing is not. And then from his speech, if we can actually deduce, we will say from his speech, he's actually threatening us. I went over to Bitcoin, and you guys you're still doing as if we still be mumu, abi na 1960, abi 1950 wey we dey. It's just, it's really tiring. Okay, we begged president, come and talk, come and talk, come and talk. President came here to read speech for us, and the person who wrote the speech as well is a very wicked person, because there's no form of empathy to show that okay, lives have been lost. Okay, these lives, they mean so much. These are people who had,
As citizens.
yeah, who had future, bright futures and all of that, and nothing has been done. So I seriously, I don't know. I just
Thank you so
worry.
much, Hope, for that extensive elaboration of the whole protest from your point of view, and definitely you're not done. I'll still come back to you, Mr. Daniel Otonye. I want to hear from you. The audience want to hear from you in the concept of a country, the concept of a government. What is the clear difference or relationship between the government and the people? What is the relationship? Who answers to who, or who is responsible for who?
Basically, the government is responsible for its citizens in whatever form of government you choose to practice. You are responsible for the lives, properties of your citizens. Their safety is your number one priority. The number one priority of every government is the safety of the lives and the properties of its citizens, and then its sovereignty and its borders.
Okay.
So whether it's a feudal system, whether it's a monarchy, whether it's gerontocracy, democracy, whatever it is, whatever you want to practice, your first point of call, your first line of duty is preserving the lives and properties of your citizens, of the people you have sworn to protect. Whatever form of government you practice, you have basically sworn and said, I am here to serve you.
Okay.
And we are not under a dictatorship.
Are you sure?
In the books, we are not.
Okay, good.
Like President said, he said we should not threaten our nascent democracy. For the fact that he even called our democracy a nascent one is an insult. It's an insult, yes. This is like the Fourth Republic here, but then it's not a nascent. Then what will you say about South Sudan? I mean, we've had a topsy-turvy kind of democracy. We come in and out. We go into the military, we will come back and stuff. But now we are in the Fourth Republic and we are hoping this continues. But his regime, I'm calling it a regime, not a tenure, because it seems more like the military right now, because people do not have a voice to say anything. Imagine people protesting and your chief of army staff was suggesting on the day two of the protest and suggesting there was news making rounds and reports of him saying they should use the military. And like on the fourth day, we heard you've launched an operation called Crocodile Smile that is against engaging in cyber warfare against. Now, you do not use soldiers on the road for cyber warfare. To show you that this is the dumbest administration Nigeria has ever had.
Cyber warfare, you're on the streets with guns.
Cyber warfare, you're on the streets with guns to shoot at what, phones or laptops.
Virus.
Cyber warfare, and they do not even know what they are saying. I saw a picture of the operation for the cyber warfare. It's simply basic. It's basic. It's basically a screen and a laptop. There is nothing there. They have no supercomputer. The Nigerian military is analog. I can't even just say it's manual.
Super analog.
It's analog. You can't even say super analog, because if you say human and superhuman, it's like
An advanced human.
they are under analog, to put it that way. And it's heartbreaking. It's disheartening to say the least about it. That the government is this way. It lacks empathy. The speech in itself by the president is an insult to all of Nigeria.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not. It's an insult to the international community too. Because the threat he gave to his people is evident. He was basically saying, see, I have already started killing you people. If you have mine, come out on the street.
Yeah.
That was what he was basically saying. If you get over, come and let you see. And he was telling the international community, try and make your findings before you start to talk. Just like when someone is trying to advise you and you say, come on here, they talk nonsense, I beg, you don't know anything. It's a disgrace.
He feels untouchable.
And that is the problem. And your people have been crying for a very long time. And you have failed in your most basic responsibility as a government. You have failed in your most basic responsibility. Imagine the youths coming out and being as ever peaceful as anybody can be. They've maintained a lot of decorum in every state.
True.
I've been at protests. I've seen a hoodlum collect a phone from somebody, steal a phone with arm. I've seen what the protesters can do. Protesters went up to this guy, retrieved the phone, and we're even saying nobody should beat him, nobody should mob him, please, we don't want violence here. Yeah. This happened on Tuesday here. We don't want violence. No kill him, no beat him. A thief. So it's quite unthinkable that the same protesters would allegedly wake up on Wednesday and start burning police stations. The government have used the police to try to disrupt protests. It didn't work. They used thugs, starting from Abuja, and it's even a meager fee of 1,500 and 500 and things like that. So they feed on our illiteracy.
Yes.
And this begs the question: are they not deliberately keeping the educational system the way it is?
It is.
Is it not by design? Because I cannot believe that it's an accident for it to be this way, because time and time again, the illiterates,
literacy keeps increasing.
Yes.
The illiterates are being used time and time again. They know that this is a weak point. Illiteracy and poverty is weaponized in Nigeria. It is a weapon of the government.
I won't disagree.
It is a weapon of the government. So they keep the system the way it is. It is deep-rooted. Nigeria is a criminal organization. The Nigerian government, I can say it anywhere, it is a deep-rooted criminal syndicate. A machine. It is a machine designed by the same persons who have been in this system for 40, 50, 60, 30 years. It has been designed by them to keep them and their family there. And it is now a fearful thing for them to see this crowd of youth thinking differently. And they are trying to keep religion and ethnicity as a point of dichotomy for everybody else.
Yes.
But it's not working, and people are saying, no go visit your pastor, no go visit your imam. This thing, it's us, we are fighting for ourselves.
Yes.
You understand this kind of thing? So it's frightening for them. So they have to use any form of brute force.
Yes.
And this inadvertently resulted in the Lekki massacre. It's not even a Lekki massacre, it's a Lagos massacre. Because throughout Lagos, in Alausa, the killing was everywhere. It was everywhere. And they resolved, they know that planting violence in any form will lead to thuggery. Because once you plant chaos, like in Game of Thrones, Peter Bailey, she said, and chaos is a ladder. Once you plant violence here, yes, there are people with minds. There are people with minds to foresee these things, to think around these things and say, okay, they're trying to push our hand. Let's keep calm. But there are persons who will be aggravated immediately to act on impulse. Now there are persons on the sidelines who are not even part of the movement, who are basically thieves. They do not even know what's happening. Theirs is, okay, we are waiting for the right time to start stealing from people. Start looting. So that is it. They know that these persons are there. So they are weaponizing the mentality of these people to keep the country the way it is. Trust me, the day the people, everybody, Karl Marx will say the proletariat, the way everybody starts thinking the same way and saying our real problem is not anybody else but the government. Because this SARS issue has shown us that it's not anybody, it's the government.
Yeah. I think
things will be different.
I think also there's a sort of awakening between people are beginning to realize that, okay, this is a game these people are trying to play and everything, because today, was it today or today. Yeah, I think today. Adamu
Gaba,
Gaba.
Francis.
Yes, I don't know what position he holds in Nigeria, but I asked someone and he said he's basically like a contractor in Nigeria, and the Northerners hold him at high esteem and everything. So there's a video he posted on Twitter, and the video was sort of like inciting violence, telling the Northerners to be at alert that we the Southerners are trying to make sure that Buhari resigns and everything. So they called him out on his BS. They actually called him out and said, "Guy, don't do this thing because in the north they are also suffering their own."
Yes.
Zamfara, they killed a lot of people. What did Buhari do? Buhari did not do anything. In southern Kaduna, El Rufai's state, what did he do when the killings were on during that lockdown period? In fact, even before the lockdown period, we heard of news that southern Kaduna, they are killing them there. El Rufai did not do anything.
At some point, we are kind of trying to link it with the coronavirus.
Yes, and El Rufai, okay, he said when they went, it's basically clashes or something. They just communal clash, and I'm like, okay, even if it is okay, what have
it's a case of security.
Yes,
whether
what have you
clash
done?
Or not, people are dying.
People are dying. Okay, this Boko Haram. Okay, what have you guys done to resolve all these issues? So people call that Adamu, and I was telling them that look, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing this and telling us that okay, the Southerners are our problem. Southerners are not our problem. They are dealing with SARS. In the north there, they don't really have this SARS problems or something. But they have their own insecurity. Yes.
Problems.
Okay, when Benue they killed people in Benue, that was last year or something. What happened? Nothing happened. So it's more like okay, they just want to kill everybody. So who will you rule or what? What is really the what is your game? What is your end game? What is the end game?
Okay, let's take a break on that. Thank you so much. You really both of you have done really well in the aspect of the government and the people, and obviously the government right now, government is civilian. We are the ones being citizens are suffering. So I want to concentrating on the protests.
Yeah.
You've mentioned some of these things, but we want you to be kind of direct, put the square ball in the square hole. Like there were cases of vandalism in different states, Abuja, Lagos, before the massacre. Like we had situations where cars were burnt.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us what do you think where do you think this violence emanated from? Is it from the protesters? You've already said something in that nature, but I don't want to be direct on this issue. We also had a case of a supposed prison break in Edo State. Even prior to the prison break, from the videos I saw, I don't think it's a prison break. It was a let loose kind of gates were opened, and we also had stations of police stations being attacked and all that. So I want you to, in your own opinion, tell us where exactly do you think this violence came from, if not from the protesters, the jailbreak and the rest?
Okay, I would say right from when the protests started, it was peaceful. And these thugs that have probably hijacked the protests, they during the peaceful protest, we saw that all of us, we had our placards, we tried to make the protest easy for people, well organized. You know, we have the legal team, the medical team. You know, everyone trying to do something. But all of a sudden,
sanitation department. As well.
you get. But all of a sudden, there is chaos everywhere. Where did they come from? Like Otonye said, that they tried to use thugs. They tried to use the police. So I feel that okay, if I go by what he said, it might be from the government, but we are not sure.
Yeah, it's a speculation.
Yes, it's a speculation. So it could be that okay, it might be someone disguising as a peaceful protester that says to say, okay, let's just pay these people so that there'll be chaos and let fights just happen.
Okay.
We need violence or something.
You want to chip in?
Let me come. There is no mincing of words in this thing. There is no mincing of words. And I'm not trying to paint myself basically as an anti-government person.
Yeah.
But it's the government. There is no mincing of words in this. Now let's put this into perspective. There is this guy, one malnourished looking youth leader in Abuja.
APC.
He came up and he made a video, and that was basically threatening the peace of the environment, and that in itself is a crime.
I think he gave him 48 hours.
48
Kind of-
hours.
Yeah, and at the end of that 48 hours, mayhem let loose. Now the thing is, peace itself, the fact that protesters were conducting themselves in such an orderly manner was the biggest threat to the government.
True.
Trust
That's
me.
true.
That is
Was
the
too organized.
biggest
Too organized.
threat to the government. Because hey, make one move and you are disgracing yourself in the international village.
Yeah.
Make one wrong step and they're saying you are breaking one international law because you are killing peaceful protesters, and peaceful protesting is a basic right. So what do? You discredit the protest. It's simple things. It's simple things people like Niccolo Machiavelli they wrote about. These are the simple things. That's what they're trying to play. But we know these things. We are smarter than them. We've read further than them.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the thing is, if protesters had done this, protesters wouldn't set the cars of protesters ablaze.
Killing
Yeah,
themselves.
that's true.
They wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. Now the thing is, we are all aware that there are pro-SARS and pro-government protesters now. And every one of them that has been interviewed or caught causing mayhem have said they were paid things like 500 and 1.5. Now, if you watch the videos, the first forms of violence during this protest done, if you watch them that were scattered all over, you see that these what do I say, the persons, the miscreants carrying out these offenses were not protesters. They were not NSAS protesters. You would see videos of hoodlums ramming into protesters with sticks and causing one form of mayhem or the other. They just wanted to discredit. They wanted to provoke the protesters and turn it into a riot. But that didn't work.
I know at some point they start asking for leaders
Yeah.
of the protest.
Yeah.
So they could
Can
actually
infiltrate.
just but that was not possible.
Now that's the thing. There is nothing like, hey, it's the government. Even okay, it's either the government or elements in the government.
Yes.
Basically, it's politicians, and that is also one of the biggest threats to the government and other politicians, because every politician, basically, apart from maybe a sitting governor that have tried to identify with the movement, have been casted out. Hey, you're one of them.
Yes.
Move out. Hey, you're one of them.
All political
Move out.
elements, you are
Hey,
casted out.
you're one of them. Move out. So that is their fear. It's the government and their supposed opposition are a cabal. We know if today article wants, you can just switch over to APC and run.
Yes.
PDP. Like
They
that.
are of the same class. So the protesters don't want them, don't associate with us.
True.
So we can even point out to PDP, can point out to APC. They are all the government.
Yes.
They are all the government. Now, at one point, I can say that PDP would have thought that, hey, we like the development, let's support and see what comes of it. But the protesters said,
No, we don't want to.
get the fuck off. Get the fuck off. We don't want your support. We don't need your money. We would donate for ourselves to cancel this thing. They could even be the ones sponsoring this thing, as well as APC, because it's also a threat to them. They are saying that, oh, these people are rising against our government. We think the opposition might be sponsoring them. And they try to discredit the movement. There is not the same people who are fighting for a certain thing with the pure knowledge of what turning it into a riot could become for them, would not allow it turn into a riot. Never. Would not have been at the protest grounds. Some persons, even let me switch to broken. The girl will shout trish. They will say no, leave her. Yes. Say, no. We don't want that. We don't want that.
That's true. Even the hoodlums that try to cause havoc or something, should they beat them, still carry them go hospital,
Yes.
go treat them. So that has left the
Beat them, put them on
that has left the
Yeah.
government like
Wow.
eh?
And there was kind of accountability on
Yes.
donations and
Yes.
expenditure and all that.
And you arrest these persons, and there are lawyers on ground.
Lawyers on ground, like
It was
Wow.
like it was too organized for them. So
that's true.
plant the seed of chaos. You cannot fight against yourself. Only your enemy will fight against you.
Yeah.
So the NSAS protesters can't start fighting against themselves. The government did it. There is no mincing words. We know, and it was even predicted. The
It
jailbreak. Okay, I saw a video of on Twitter, and it was tagged. It was captioned, "Customs set on fire by NSAS protesters." I clicked customs office rather. I clicked, and I was wondering, well, where is the set on fire? I only saw a tire burning by the gate
Like it, yeah, I saw that video.
of the customs office, and nothing else was on fire. And I just saw people coming out with rice. So customs officers are normally armed. Where are they?
Where are they? Even the
Even the jailbreak.
No water
Now,
was found anywhere.
Sources told me that that particular prison in Benin has four
Four gates.
entrance gates. Four.
I read something like that.
And normally, judging by Port Harcourt prisons, there are sentinels standing by the fences. So where were they?
Nowhere.
Who fucking opened the gate? Who has the key? I've visited Port Harcourt prison. Who has the key? You can't get into that place. You cannot.
And I feel like the prisoners or the inmates that came out, they were too clean.
Now, you see, oh God.
They came out prepared.
Ashlock's cap, Ashlock's face cap is 28,000 naira. 28,000 naira. Now there is a prisoner with that cap.
What was with headset?
What was
Yeah,
it?
how did that happen?
Airport.
During the jailbreak, you do not even have the time to go for your belongings.
I'm telling you.
So who is the motherfucker with the box?
Someone came out with box.
From a prison break. Who is the person who had been in prison since 2014 wearing a current
The
Arsenal
current
jersey?
JC.
Now this goes to
Prisoner
tell you
came out and
that
granted interview.
Interview.
now,
Instead of me to look for me to hide, you're going to grant
this
interview.
goes to tell you that the government is not even smart
They
enough.
are not.
They are not even smart enough. They want to do things and they are not smart about it. In no way. And the saddest part is we have people who come 2023 who would take 5,000 and still vote for this.
I'm telling you.
Thieves.
Now they collected 500. And I also read that when they asked the hoodlums question, they said they've not even paid them.
You know, sorry to cut you. From my own point of view, I was also there during the Port Harcourt protest
Yeah.
on Tuesday, and there was a set of persons. At some point, I was in front just to make sure I get some clips.
Yeah.
While approaching UTC junction, we heard a woman saying some APC boys are there saying, thank you, Buhari, thank you, Buhari. So I went further
Okay.
to know if actually heard those chants. I just stood aside. I was kind of picturing a kind of clash.
Yeah.
I stood aside. Lo and behold, when this other set came in, there was no violence. It came in, and before you know, everybody joined up. At the end of the day, I made inquiry and I heard that this other set of persons were kind of mobilized with 5,000 naira.
Okay, that is not
5,000 naira.
that is not make. It's actually a fact. There is a woman whose name I will not call. She's into this modeling and stuff. She arranged her girls for that stupid movement.
Wow. Wow.
They were lodged at Polo Club. They started there. We know these things. There are persons that are mobilized and paid to betray their own future.
What I don't understand is what will this 5,000 naira do for you? In a day, you just finish the
Before the
money.
day runs out, you're done.
In
Then
a
what
month,
hap-
in
what-
a
what
month, I
happened?
spend over 5,000 for just data.
Then what will happen
So-
the next day, the following day?
Okay, thank you so much. Let's quickly go to the comment section and see what is going on there. Our esteemed audience, they are participating. So we're just going to take some few comments, then we come back to the discussion. Happiness Ekanem saying good evening. I am W. Good evening to you too. Richie Wells, ITT Alpha. Deo. Ave Pilot and our Kings. Sorry if I'm not calling your name properly. Saying well done, thank you. Boma Fubara is saying well done, thank you so much. Ave Pilot also. If Pilot Awakens and Workings. Sorry. Please let the ladies speak also. Yeah, please let us speak. That's okay. Okay. Joshua Boysa is saying to think I missed most part of this show listening to one useless script written by enemies of our dear country. You're welcome, Mr. Joshua Boysa. Sorry, we also wasted some time broadcasting and we had some evil spirits attacking us due to that broadcast. Okay. Kendall Media is saying you guys are truly informed and hearing young people speak this way gives all of us hope. Let us not be deterred. Thank you so much for that encouragement. Those are the few comments we'll take right now. We're going to take a short break, then we come back to the discussion. So, go nowhere.
Musical FP. Musical FP.
Welcome back to ITT. Let's talk the talk. Before the break, we hadn't exhausted our discussion on the topic, but due to time factor, let's move forward to the next segment, which has to do with everything we're talking about. Today's episode has taken a very different shape because the country already has taken a different shape. So, moving along, they say when the music change, the dance step to go change. So, right about now, we are already in the next segment, which is the magic box. So, in this episode of the magic box, we are going to do the same thing, but there are no trending topics, but trending humans. That's what we're going to deal on. So, right about now, one at a time, you are going to put your hands in here. You're not going to look at it. You look away and put your hand on there. Any color you bring out, you're going to talk about whatever is contained in that color as will be displayed on the screen. Then when she's done picking, you also take. If you pick the same color she picked, you're going to take another turn to pick again. So are we ready? Okay, let's have you do your own ballot. You have to look away and bring your hand here. Okay, yes, just one color. Yeah, just one. Yeah, that is blue. Okay, can we have you? Can we have you go in there? Can we have you go in there? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's good. That's good. That's good. So, esteemed audience, what we have today are the lead
Wow.
protesters. Lead protesters. So we have on the color blue, the lead protesters, we have 4 of them in the color blue, which are Aisha Yusufu, Whiskey, Flavor, and Dandizi. Okay, let's see the next. On the lead protesters on the red color, we have Genevieve Naji, Don Jazzy, Omoni Oboli, and Bonner Boy. Okay, on the gold color, who do we have on the gold color? Okay, lead protesters on the gold color, we have DJ Switch, Davido, Rundown, and Fast. So we are going to start with the blue color. Okay, we should start with him. Okay, there's a protest, a peaceful protest. So we are going to start with the red color. You're starting with the red color. Yeah, so what you're going to do for us now, whatever role you think, however visible these persons listed here, these social elites, whatever role they played in the peaceful protests, and whatever you know, both online protests and offline protests, just tell us. Whatever. If they did nothing, still tell us. If they were doing busybody, still tell us. Just tell us whatever you know. Starting with whichever one you can take it on a random. Okay?
Okay, for starters, I would not say I really have an in-depth information about the role of Omoni Obodi, because there's a statement somebody made, the person, and this was like 4 years ago, a tweet, and I quote, the person said, the revolution will not be televised. Okay, Twitter.
Yeah.
And Twitter is not most likely, it's a form of communication throughout the protest and everything. And I've been there like almost like 18 hours every day. Only body, I don't think she has played any principal role so far. I've not seen her name anywhere. Maybe she's doing something behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe she's
donating. I see her tweets and all. Yeah,
she tweets.
Offline what she has done.
So, Genevieve Inaji, oh my love. She has been vocal, very vocal about everything. She has been very, very, very vocal. I'm yet to know whether she has hit the stage with any other group of protesters any day, but she has been very vocal, more than Omoni. Omoni has done something, but maybe. But Don Jazzy, he has been even more vocal than the 2 ladies on this list.
Wow.
Yeah, he also went out to protest.
The night of candles, something like that. That's why a picture of him went out.
And things like that, and he supports the protest from backstage. Basically, all of them do. And then Burna Boy's case is interesting because, of a truth, when the protest started with Runtown, I remember the first thing, tomorrow we hit the streets, and he chickened out.
He went on live now with the IG.
There is nothing like he went on live.
I heard he went there and his mother called him.
It's my color.
Right.
He chickened out.
Okay.
He basically chickened out. There's no way to garnish it and say it. And the next day, Runtown and files, and Runtown said Thursday is Thursday. That was the start of everything. After the whiskey tweet, Runtown said Thursday is Thursday, and he started the movement on ground with files. Yeah, I remember calling out Burna Boy. I was like, where is that dwarf of Africa? All over my WhatsApp, I was insulting him and calling him a coward for always calling Nigerian youths coward. And when the time has come to stand up and everyone is standing up, he's nowhere to be found. Like for like 2 days. And even his girlfriend, with all the dragging on social media, his girlfriend, what's her name, Steph London, she tweeted and said, don't worry, he's doing something behind the scenes, you will like it and stuff. People started dragging her too. And when he came out and first said something about the movement, and she said, I have my NSAS billboards. They will soon be all over the country. People started dragging him for saying, your NSAS. Imagine the impetus. I did too. I was like, what if don't ever try to compare yourself with fella. We have files. There are people more fella than you.
Yeah.
And we were saying you are personalizing this thing. What the fuck? What kind of arrogance? But we cannot overemphasize his work behind the scenes. Okay. He explained a few days later, and he was like, his mother was sick, so he had to focus on her for the first few days. And now he's back. And ever since the time he tweeted that, he has been one of the front runners. He has put his money into a medical team who are running on basically every protest ground and treating people. That's on him. There are other people who are there who are volunteers. He set up a team of lawyers too, just like everybody did. And he put his billboard to sensitize people all over the country. It's basically everywhere. And he has been vocal, he has been as blunt as Davido and Wizkid online, calling out the president steady, using insulting words, and it shows that not almost, everyone is angry.
Yeah.
He has been one of the front runners, and I give him kudos for that. He has done something. So on the list, basically every one of them, but the first is Burna Boy.
You've not said anything about Genevieve, have you?
Yeah, I said she's my love. She has been vocal online. She's an online protester. They have been sharing recharge cards and that, telling people, put this up, put this out, let the international community see it. Put this out, put this out, put this out. They've all done their bits. And it is a very good sight to see, because prior to now, the people had always dragged celebrities online and saying, "You are not saying anything. We buy your music, we listen to your music. You are not saying anything. We are dying, you are not saying anything. We protest, we do not see you." You have the platform to let the world know. If you get involved in this thing, it will become more serious.
Yeah.
Many people would come for you, come out for this stuff because of you. They are basically just like pastors, and their followers are like their church. These celebrities. So it's like that. So at this time, with them having their voices heard, with them giving inputs into the protest, into the struggle, it became a global trend. It became, more to say, an outburst. Everyone was just thinking likewise. Everyone was out there. The celebrities are out there. We too, we are out there. We are fighting this fight. But most important, most vital element in all these protests are the people who choose to come out every day on the streets and risk their life, knowing that they are dealing with Dracula. They come out every day and risk their lives on the street. They are true heroes. Some of them this period has been traumatic, very traumatic. So the first thing on that list should be not a name, but protesters. Just protesters.
Because removed the lead.
Yeah, and not even these names, just protesters. Because the people who have even played more important roles compared to the names on this list are there. And I would bet that their names will not appear. We have Mo, we have FK Abu, we have Reno, who risked her life during the early protests, and she was going from state to state. Once she hears that, Ibadan would hold their own, she's there leading at the forefront. Now, Reno is someone I even blocked on Twitter because of the content she posted before this time. But I found myself unblocking her and following her again, and even retweeting her steady because she was at the forefront. I'm so proud of Nigerian women.
Even during the lockdown, she gave out during the lockdown she gave out sanitizers. Oh, but he's not discussing.
We are not talking about this. That is never lockdown.
No. We are trying to talk about
what you're done with your characters.
What she has done.
The appreciation goes to
you started introducing more characters into your list.
Yeah, because it would be injustice not to mention the people.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into that list.
Yeah, because some of them saw people close to them fall on the floor.
That's true.
They witnessed death, they witnessed brutality, they witnessed everything. And the next morning they still woke up and went on the streets again. If that's not bravery, then nothing is bravery.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's roll up to the blue so that Hope Alfred is going to tell us whatever she knows about Aisha Yusufu, Wizkid, Flavor, and Dandizi. Okay,
so I'll start with Wizkid.
Okay.
Wizkid tackled our
old
president.
man.
When he called him an old man, like focus on what's happening in your country. Okay, instead of him to talk about what's going on, the peaceful protests or the voices, the loud voices talking to him and all of that, he rather went to tell Donald Trump, sympathize with Donald Trump for his virus.
Virus.
Yeah. So Whiskey was like, bros, focus here, leave America.
Trump is not your country.
America is not your country. Focus here. So that sparked everything. Like,
Killed a lot of people.
yes.
Morale.
And also during the protest that happened in London,
Yeah.
he was there.
Yeah.
He didn't chicken out when Ogbeni Dipo on Twitter said, okay, at Whiskey, tagged him at Whiskey, there will be a protest, peaceful protest in London. He said he will be there. He tagged Burna Boy
He
was
with his
nowhere
mother.
to be found or something. So yeah, maybe he was with his mother at the hospital or something. So yeah, Whiskey has done a lot outside, offline and online. So even till date, he still tweets, uses the hashtag #EndSARS, end bad governance and everything. So those are the kind of celebrities that we need during this time and everything. So Aisha Isufu, that's our
The
woman
Statue
with
of Liberty.
the iconic picture, because okay, Aisha has always been vocal when it comes to injustice. She's an activist, so she always
She's a member of part of the revolution now with Sowore. I watched an interview about
Okay.
this with Sowore,
Okay.
and he actually said it
Okay.
that immediately after she came out from operation, that he called her and told her,
Okay.
look at what is happening in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and she's going to join him. And she said that she's already on her way.
Okay,
I have not heard from her.
Yeah, I can't affirm or
But
negate it because
I've never seen her use the hashtag.
hashtag revolution now. Even
So can we just debate a little? It's so worry of a person.
okay.
Do
Sorry.
you kind of try to fit him into this? I heard he was kind of rejected or driven away when he went to join them in Abuja.
Sorry, you can't trust these politicians.
Yeah.
It's basically you're buying anti-can.
I haven't saw a picture of the both of them.
The thing is, you
Together.
can't trust them, and fundamentally, when he saw that the youths were rising, I think something in him was saying, yeah, this is the time to shine.
Yeah.
And he tries to hijack the movement. And
He
realized,
actually went there with a shirt
Shirt.
written the revolution now.
yeah, he wanted
They-
to hijack it.
they
And
chased
he was
them.
always using revolution now hashtag, and people were like, shh,
We don't want
It's
that.
not revolution.
this is not it. We are asking for a better country and you're trying to incite us. Fuck off. So I don't think she is part, and if she is, then she has not been made it
She has
known.
not.
But if she is, she didn't show it during this time. She kept to the plan. This woman actually dodged the bullets and risked her life every day. So
Okay, thank you. You
Like
can
her,
continue.
we also how her picture sparked, like it's iconic.
Yeah.
Like everybody said they are going to tell their child this is the Statue of Liberty and everything, because she was at the forefront of everything. And when
People started using her speech kind of quotes.
yes,
Different
she was there. She didn't back down at all, and it's more like, okay, women really show themselves this period. Like
I think her presence, her image, her expression actually motivated most of the ladies.
yes, that's true. But before then, we also have this feminist coalition.
feminist coalition.
I heard
Yeah.
they also help with
They are
the
Oh.
finance.
They are amazing, okay, because they are the ones that handles the finances,
Logistics.
so logistics and everything. So they put out records. You see how they used it and everything. There's accountability. You can actually hold them accountable for, okay, this, how did you spend this and everything. Before you even ask them, they post it and say, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. So Aisha Yusufu is an amazing woman during this time. So she's really vocal and everything. At one point she tweeted that okay, she was calling medical people, asking them that, okay, her voice, something happened to her voice, she can't shout. So they gave her a solution on how to, that's how energetic she is. She just wants to be there everyone. Flavor. Flavor. Okay, I'll say he was also part of the offline protest,
Yeah.
but I really didn't focus on him and
Really?
everything. I think he himself,
Fino,
Fino, Casey, and all of that, they went to the Anambra own protest and everything. But I think by the time they left there, that's when they started shooting at them, or I don't even know what happened.
Sorry, but that's a lie.
Okay.
Now, AGK
Okay.
was one of the lead protesters in
Yeah.
Anambra State. Yeah, he had always been the convener of the protest in Anambra State.
Yeah.
So the protest was going on, and Fino and Flavor just came and incited people and said, "Let's go to Akuzu and release this, that. Let's go to." They went there and they left the people. Now they came online and saying, we just left and we started hearing more that they have started shooting people at Akuzu. And AGK came online and was saying,
Took them
he
there and left them.
he called them out and said, Fino, Flavor, why are you lying?
Wow.
You took these people to Akuzu and you ran away immediately before the problem started. You ran away as you saw what was about to start. And you are coming online to say you had left like 1 hour later, they started shooting people. Why are you lying? You left people for 7 hours trekking how many miles to that Akuzu police station and you left them for dead.
Then we need beat them. And his name came up here. Good, I think his name came up. So that we could be hearing this. Wow.
Okay,
Maybe we should move forward. Let's just leave it.
yeah. Okay. Dandizi. I think Dandizi is a part of the Port Harcourt's
Yeah,
protest.
he was a convener.
He's actually okay. So okay, Dandizi. I don't really.
He's a musician.
I don't really. So I won't come and start saying, oh, I know Dandizi. Yeah, so I don't really know.
I think he's the one that sang the who goes there, but who goes there.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know I've heard the name Dandizi. My brothers they talk about him. That
I saw him during the Tuesday protest.
Yeah, he's the one with
So-
dread.
Yeah, and this that
Okay.
was there,
No,
Dr. Mighty.
he has never missed a day. That
Yeah.
is, he had not missed a day. I've been to all the protests in Port Harcourt. He doesn't miss. He's always there most times. The first day he was the first person on ground from reports. He was there.
Okay.
He's always there with his megaphone. And he's the one shouting and saying, "Oh, Ali, he's always there shouting. And even when some persons came and said they wanted to address, he would off the mic. He's that way. If he thinks he wants to turn to politics, he will tell you this is not politics. If you want to address us, go to NTA and address people. Don't come here. So it's that way. On the first day of the protest, when was an Intacha came around and Omali, they didn't interact with us. He interacted. Mr. Tuki interacted. They just came. I wanted to go and pick up mic and people were like, no. They actually poured Tasha water.
And we were almost about putting her name here.
And all that she did something behind the scene, like donate and stuff.
It wouldn't have been wrong if
They didn't allow them, she and Omali talk. But I people are not that way. They are not here to worship anybody. If you want people to praise you, trek with us, suffer with us.
Yes.
And that Dizzy was there. And when he saw that things were getting out of hand, he collected the mic and said, "No celebrity for here. There's no celebrity here. All of us are celebrity."
I've been there.
They had to go back to their cars and leave. He has been there, he has been on ground, he's always
What
there.
about Dr. Mighty?
Dr. Mighty, oh God.
I didn't see Dr. Mike.
Dr.
I saw
Mighty
him.
came, he came when we were taught line.
I did a video with him as well.
And
That's
he
nice.
looked, sorry to say, but he looked like a crackhead.
Wow.
Of course, he looks kind of
It was-
frustrated.
it
So
was-
he kind of
It was sad seeing him that
he
way.
wasn't looking like a celebrity at all.
It was sad seeing
So
him that way.
unkempt.
And he shared packs of St. Louis cigar, Benson cigar to
For-
people. One stick. As they don't want to.
One stick.
I do not judge the produce.
Okay.
I judge the intentions. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what he has. Because he's looking like someone I am richer than right now.
He was looking like
He
someone
was
who needs help.
looking. He was looking so Oh God! Until Soso Bisobeleko came and told the bouncers, he was not looking. He was stoned. Soso Bisobeleko had to tell the bouncers to take Dr. Mighty to his car. He was stoned. He was just there. And one of my friends told him, Dr. Mighty, how long are UAB but a boy said he just did that thing like this. My friend said, Dr. Mighty now Josie man. Normal Port Harcourt slang. You get so
Somebody standing by my side.
yeah.
At the point where the two groups kind of met beside the central bank, the group that was coming from the police headquarters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard, so I don't know the guy, black guy with a big body kind of. Normally that kind of person call the person piggy. He was just shouting, Dr. Mighty, now they come. Go slap you. So I kind of tried to hold him down, leave her.
He was looking stoned. He was looking stoned. And that day, the crowd that day was massive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
massive.
Because
Even under the rain.
Under the rain, like some people were trying to hide. Some people were trying to get under the shade. And like, see these people though, under the rain, under the sun. She are singing it during.
I saw this woman.
Hilda Dokubo.
Hilda Dokubo,
She had been
yeah.
there
A group
before.
of persons beside her were shouting,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
She attended, was that the second or the first protest? But she normally covers her face.
Yeah.
So she attended.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we have exhausted our list, and I think we're still left with the gold color. I think we could just look at that, see the names there, and know whatever they did. So, the gold color, yeah. They did protest there. DJ Switch. I don't think anybody will forget DJ Switch for that bravery on that Lekki massacre.
No,
I think
don't
nobody will
forget
forget that. I think it's her video is part of the video they said it was Photoshop.
Photoshopped, yeah.
That was bad. Then Davido is on this list, Runtown is on this list, and Fast the bad guy is on this list. So
Okay.
we're gonna take something about.
Okay.
I'll take on someone.
Run down.
Take on Runtown, okay? Right?
I'd say.
Okay.
I'd say.
Take Runtown and
and probably DJ Switch.
okay, Runtown and DJ Switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say Run Down. He's the man that we will never forget. Because if Run Down had not stood up to say, let's go out. Thursday is Thursday. Everybody has to come out to protest. I will be there. He didn't chicken out like Naira Marley did. He said that Thursday is Thursday because the death of citizens is just too much. We can't even, okay, if there was no social media, we don't even know.
No.
The bodies are just everywhere. So he said Thursday is Thursday, and he kept to his word. So that's why I feel like Run Down, that man, nobody will forget him. Like if we had history.
Thank you. We're going to break right about now. Thank you. Hey. Okay, shit. Well,
Musical epic. Music